Swayze Foster from FitOnRaw.com, and if you're super worried about staying 100% raw and eating every little thing 100% raw, processed below 118 degrees Fahrenheit, you are seriously missing the point. Your priorities are skewed. What I mean is that I see a lot of people so focused on eating. Look, I eat a 100% raw diet, and it's very, very important to eat the majority of your foods raw, fresh, raw foods. So what you would find in the fruits and vegetable section of your grocery store, or what you would find at your farmer's market, just fresh fruits and vegetables. But the other stuff, the little tiny stuff, the 10% or less, honestly is not a big deal. And I see people focusing on this and spending so much money or fretting that they can't afford certain things. So let me give you an example. Something like maybe carob powder. A lot of people, you can use carob instead of chocolate or cacao to make maybe like a sauce for bananas or banana ice cream. And it tastes kind of like chocolate. It's pretty good. And, people will fret about that because maybe in their grocery store they can find carob powder, but they can't find raw carob powder. They can't find carob powder that's processed below 118 degrees Fahrenheit. So they worry about it. And so they go online and they go to the raw food store and they buy and they see that the raw carob powder is more expensive, and so they can't afford it, and so they worry about it. And it's just really silly to me because it's something something like carob powder, you're going to use a tiny amount. It's so insignificant that it really doesn't matter if you're using the cooked carob powder that you buy in the store or the raw that you buy online. It's such a small amount that it really doesn't matter. Other examples, dried fruit, something I do recommend eating sulfite-free, salt-free, like sun-dried tomatoes. But if you can't find that, it's not a big deal because, if you're looking at a recipe that calls for sun-dried tomatoes, or if you just want to make, say, a salad dressing with sun-dried tomatoes, you're going to use what? A quarter of a cup, a half a cup, maybe a cup at most. That's really it. That's all we're talking about here. So when I see people worried about these kind of ingredients, all these dried ingredients that aren't truly raw anyway, even if they say raw, they're not truly raw because raw means in its whole natural state. And a dried goji berry or carob powder is obviously not in its whole natural state. It can't compare to something like a fresh peach that you just picked, off of the tree. So those products aren't truly raw. But besides that, they're products that should be used sparingly, just like nuts and seeds, like I talked about in a video I did a few days ago. They should be used sparingly. They're processed products to a degree, and you're not going to use that much of them. It doesn't really matter if they're cooked. It really isn't a big deal if you're using a few canned olives in your salad or something like that. It's not a big deal. So when I see people worried about that and worried that they can't afford these types of ingredients, please don't. Your priorities are skewed. The main thing you want to focus on is eating the majority of your food, the majority of your calories from fresh, whole produce, from actually fresh food, from bananas and romaine and spinach and oranges and grapes and peaches and mangoes and all those kinds of foods. That's what you want to focus on. You want to focus on eating those foods. Even perhaps more importantly than that, you want to focus on eating high carb, low fat. You want to focus on eating the majority of your calories from high carbohydrate foods. So again, sweet fruits, non-sweet fruits like tomatoes and cucumbers and zucchini, greens, tender greens like spinach, kale, romaine, things like that. And then you want to limit your fat intake. So on a raw food diet, you would limit the amount of nuts and seeds, the amount of avocado, the amount of coconut meat that you would consume. That's what you want to focus on. Don't focus on the little tiny stuff. It really doesn't matter if you make a raw banana split and you used cooked carob powder in the chocolate sauce that you're making, and it's so not even a big deal. So that's just something I've seen a lot lately, people worried about and saying the raw food diet is so expensive, because they're focusing on buying these really expensive raw products that are just so unnecessary. So again, focus on the fresh foods. That should be your priority. Focus on eating the majority of your food coming from fresh, whole produce.